Have you ever started something with great excitement, but then gave up halfway through? A young carpenter named Marcus had this same problem. He could not finish anything he started. His life was filled with half-done projects and broken dreams. But one meeting with an old master changed everything. Before we begin, what time are you listening? Where are you from? Drop a comment below and tell me. And please like and subscribe for more videos like this. Now let us dive into this powerful story that might change your life forever. Once upon a time, in a quiet village, surrounded by green hills and winding roads, there lived a young carpenter named Marcus. He was talented with his hands and full of creative ideas. But Marcus had one big problem that troubled him every single day. He could not finish anything. His workshop was filled with half-built furniture. There was a chair with only 3 legs, a table with no top, and a cabinet with no doors. Every corner held the ghost of a dream he had given up on. When neighbors asked Marcus, "When will that bookshelf be ready?" he would smile nervously and say, "Soon. I just need to work on something else first." But soon never came. His promises piled up like the unfinished furniture, and his reputation began to suffer. His father was a respected carpenter who had taught Marcus everything he knew. One day, his father looked around the workshop and said, "My son, a carpenter is not measured by how many projects he starts, but by how many he finishes." Marcus would nod and promise to do better. Then he would start another project. He always told himself, "This time will be different." But within days, a new idea would appear, a better design, a more exciting challenge, and the half-finished project would join the others, gathering dust in the corner. The cycle continued month after month. Then one spring morning, Marcus received the opportunity of his life. The mayor's daughter was getting married, and she wanted a special wedding gift for her husband, a beautiful hand-carved wooden chest. She came to Marcus's workshop and saw his unfinished creations. "I know you can create something magnificent," she said. "I will pay you well. I need it in 3 months." Marcus felt a surge of excitement. This was his chance. This would be the project that finally proved he could finish something. For the first 2 weeks, he worked with passion. The chest began to take shape. The wood was beautiful, and the carvings were impressive. Everyone who saw it said, "Marcus, this will be your masterpiece." But then Marcus discovered a beautiful design for a wooden jewelry box. "Just a small project," he told himself. "I'll finish it quickly and then return to the chest." But the small project became a bigger project. Then another idea came. Then another. His attention scattered in a dozen different directions. The wedding chest sat abandoned in the corner. Days turned into weeks. Then 3 months passed. The wedding day arrived. The chest was still unfinished. Marcus had lost the job, the money, and his reputation. But worse than all of that, he had lost respect for himself. That evening, Marcus walked to the edge of the village where an old master carpenter named Samuel lived. Samuel was known for his perfect craftsmanship and his silence. When Marcus knocked on his door, Samuel looked at his tired face and simply said, "Come in." Marcus entered the small, perfectly organized workshop. Every tool had its place. In the center of the room sat a simple wooden stool, perfect in every detail. "Master Samuel," Marcus said, "I cannot finish anything. I have talent. I have ideas, but I cannot complete what I start. How do you do it?" Samuel did not answer immediately. Instead, he picked up a small block of wood and a carving knife. He began carving slowly. After several minutes, he said, "Inside this wood is a spoon. My job is simply to remove everything that is not the spoon." Marcus watched carefully. Samuel continued carving. "If I stop now, it is only damaged wood. But if I keep going, layer by layer, eventually the spoon appears." Then Samuel looked directly at Marcus. Every project has a difficult middle. The beginning is exciting, the end is satisfying. But the middle is hard, boring, and frustrating. That is where most people quit. Marcus listened carefully. Samuel continued, "Finishing is not about motivation. Motivation fades. Finishing is about commitment to the process, even when it is no longer exciting." Then he gave Marcus a simple challenge. For the next 30 days, choose one project. Just one. Work on it every single day, even if it is only for 10 minutes. Even when you are bored, even when you do not feel like it, even when a better idea comes along. Finish one thing, Marcus. Marcus returned home that night and looked around his workshop. After years of unfinished projects, he finally made a decision. He chose the simplest one, a small wooden stool that needed only a few hours of work. This one, he said, I will finish this one. The next morning, Marcus worked on the stool for 10 minutes. It was not exciting. It was not glamorous, but he did it. The next day, he did it again. And the day after that, on the 5th day, a new idea appeared, a beautiful design for a mirror frame. Marcus wanted to start it immediately, but instead, he touched the stool. He remembered Samuel's words. Some days, Marcus worked for only 10 minutes. Other days, once he started, he worked for an hour. But he never skipped a day. Slowly, something began to change. Consistency was becoming his new identity. On the 12th day, the stool was nearly finished. For the first time in years, Marcus felt something he had almost forgotten. Pride. Not pride in starting, pride in continuing. Pride in keeping his word to himself. On the 23rd day, the stool was finally complete. Marcus placed it in the center of his workshop and sat on it. It held his weight perfectly. It was simple, but it was finished. And for Marcus, that small stool was more valuable than any masterpiece he had ever imagined, because it proved something important. He could finish. The next morning, Marcus did not start a new project. Instead, he chose another unfinished piece from the corner. He worked on it. Then another. Then another. Weeks passed. Months passed. Slowly, the workshop began to change. The piles of unfinished furniture became smaller. The empty spaces became larger. And Marcus became different. When a new idea came, he wrote it down instead of immediately abandoning his current project. When the work became boring, he kept going. When motivation disappeared, he relied on his commitment. 1 year later, the same workshop that had once been filled with unfinished dreams was filled with completed creations. People from the village began coming to Marcus again. But this time, they did not ask, "When will it be finished?" They already knew the answer. Marcus had become known as a carpenter who finished what he started. One evening, Samuel visited his workshop. He looked around at the completed furniture and smiled. Marcus thanked him. "You didn't teach me how to carve wood," Marcus said. "You taught me how to finish." Samuel shook his head. "No, Marcus. You already knew how to finish. You simply learned to keep going when the excitement disappeared." Marcus smiled. Then he looked at the first little stool he had completed. It was still sitting in the center of his workshop. He kept it there as a reminder that great achievements rarely happen because someone feels motivated every day. They happen because someone keeps showing up. One small step, one small effort. One day at a time. So if you have something you've been putting off, don't try to finish everything at once. Choose one thing. Make it small. Work on it today. Then do it again tomorrow. Because the secret to finishing big dreams is not always finding more motivation. Sometimes, it's simply refusing to stop. And remember, you don't have to finish everything today. You just have to finish something. Start small, keep going, and one day, you'll look back and realize that the person who once couldn't finish anything became the person who finally what mattered most. The journey begins with one step. So take that step today.